On June 30th, the Japanese department store Isetan's Shanghai store completed its operations for the day, ending 27 years of operation and officially closing its doors. In recent years, due to the continuous economic decline in China, the department store industry has seen a wave of store closures. According to the statistics of the Retail Research Center of the United Business Network, in 2023 alone, there were 21 department stores in China closing, such as Pacific Department Store, Aeon, Parkson, Xiebai, Grand Ocean Department Store, and New World Department Store, etc. They were once popular and well-known department stores in major cities in mainland China and have closed down and ceased operations, leaving the Chinese market one after the other.
On June 30th, the Isetan department store in Shanghai ended 27 years of operation and officially closed its doors. Farewell posters were put up at the entrance of the mall, and there were countdown signs and thank you signs inside. Many people specifically came to shop for bargains in the past 2 days. Almost every merchant offered discounts ranging from 20 to 50%. Some insiders said that the reason for the closure was the expiration of the lease. In fact, it was already confirmed last year that the company would close its stores after the lease expired this year. After the Shanghai Isetan department store ceased operations, only one store remains open in Tianjin. Many Shanghainese have deep feelings for this brand. Even though it rained heavily in Shanghai yesterday, they braved the rain and rushed to the store to say their goodbyes. For the operators, even if the store is finally closed, the curtain call is made elegantly with the warmth of a retailer. This is one of the reasons why we should learn from Japanese retailers.
So how much foreign investment has left China so far? The most intuitive way to understand the confidence of foreign investors in China is to look at the amount of foreign direct investment, or FDI. In the third quarter of 2023, for the first time in the past 25 years, China's FDI turned negative, meaning that the total foreign investment leaving China was greater than the total invested in China. This is unprecedented. It should be noted that at its peak in 2013, the net value of FDI in a single quarter was as high as 110 billion. But in the third quarter of 2023, the figure became minus 11.8 billion. In the first quarter of 2024, the total FDI had dropped 90% to 33 billion from its historical peak of 344 billion. This is the lowest point of FDI in China in the past 30 years since Deng Xiaoping's Southern Tour in 1992, where he reaffirmed China's reform and opening up policy. Why is it happening? In addition to the fact that many foreign investors were forced to leave as a result of China's dynamic zero-COVID policy in 2022, another major reason is that it has become too risky doing business in China, both politically and policy-wise. When a country's laws and policies are basically dictated by one person, no one knows when a policy will be enacted that can send a business into an abyss of destruction. In addition, after years of wolf warrior diplomacy and hate propaganda, anti-American and anti-Western sentiments have risen throughout society, adding to the sense of insecurity among foreigners in China. In July 2023, China amended its anti-espionage law, expanding the scope of what constitutes espionage and making the definition of anti-espionage vague. In other words, normal business activities can lead to executives and employees of foreign companies being deemed as spies. Moreover, on August 1, 2023, State Security launched an open social mobilization campaign through WeChat, calling on all citizens to report spies and offering rewards for such behaviors. In a social atmosphere where everyone is catching spies, it has created tremendous pressure on foreign enterprises, and the business environment has further deteriorated. In 2023, there were a number of raids on foreign companies and detentions of their employees. In March, the Beijing office of the American due diligence firm Mintz Group was raided by the police, who took away 5 employees and detained them. In May, a U.S. consulting firm, Capvision, was investigated, and in July, the Beijing Bureau of Statistics announced that the Ministry of Public Security had determined that the Beijing office of a Japanese company had conducted unauthorized espionage activities in the city, thus imposing a fine of 2.5 million on the company. As of November 2023, the 5 employees of Mintz Group have been detained for 8 months without being released. In December, the Shanghai office of Bain & Company, another leading U.S. consulting firm that has operated in China for more than 3 decades, was raided by police. The police took away computers and cell phones and interrogated its employees. Under various pressures, foreign companies that have been established in China for many years have chosen to partially or completely withdraw from the Chinese market, or close down their factories in China and move them to Southeast Asia. It ranges from HP and Dell in the technology industry to Bridgestone and Mitsubishi Tire in the automotive industry. From asset management giants such as Vanguard Group, Gallup Investments, and Blackstone to social media platforms like Airbnb and LinkedIn. Foreign companies are pulling out. They are leaving China. We know Apple, Dell, Sony, Samsung, and Toyota. They've all been gradually pulling out of China, and some have even shifted their production bases directly to the Southeast Asian and Indian markets. Until now, the entire foreign capital has withdrawn $160 billion in 6 consecutive quarters. Such a large-scale withdrawal of foreign capital is rare in history. This has directly led to a direct impact on our overall business environment, and the amount of foreign investment has dropped to a negative figure. This is the first time in 40 years since the reform and opening up of China. Many people think that it doesn't matter if foreign investors leave. We don't care. No matter who comes to China, it's foreign capitalists who exploit us Chinese. But what I want to tell you is that you have to realize that investment, consumption, and export are the 3 most important vehicles that drive our GDP. The export value contributed by foreign companies accounts for half of our total export value. In some places, such as Zhengzhou in Henan province, it accounted for more than 60%. You must realize that all these are included in our GDP. They pay taxes to our country, and they also give us most of our foreign exchange reserves. They generate as much as 1.3 trillion in foreign exchange reserves each year, basically 1/3 of the entire foreign reserves of our country. The key is that once these foreign enterprises withdraw, it affects more than just the foreign companies and their employees. You have to know one foreign enterprise is linked to a series of upstream and downstream enterprises that are up to dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of enterprises in some cases. And once they leave, their upstream and downstream enterprises will have no orders, right? When they have no orders, they have only 2 choices, either to follow the foreign companies to move overseas or to declare bankruptcy and close down. We must look at not just at the moment. The enormous disadvantages they bring to us are not just at the moment. Wait for the next 3 to 5 years when you see the entire number of laid-off workers. It's going to be unimaginable. So many entrepreneurs believe that in recent years we have seen a very big change in the business environment, so these entrepreneurs and factory owners feel very certain and worried about the future of their business. Even many Chinese factory owners have lost their confidence too. In fact, if we look at history, we will know that the more closed we are, the more backward we are. The more powerful we are, the more open we are, and the more open we are, the more powerful we are. It is the reform and opening up that has brought us rapid development over the past 4 decades, isn't it? As we say, the world can't do without our China, and our China can't do without the world, at least for a short period. Therefore, the chief executive of our country must keep on improving our business environment and find ways and means to restore the confidence of these factories, bosses, and entrepreneurs. You have to know that only by giving entrepreneurs and factory owners a sense of security, letting them make real money and putting the money in their pockets without worrying about one day this money will suddenly disappear, can these entrepreneurs focus on developing the economy without distraction.